It's time for the visit with a person of high strangeness. We are in show number 5 of Roadrunner. We are still at the Maima Mountain. You see how dry it is? This was in August of 2006. It was just totally dry. Ebony is filming and directing. I'm going to give you a little sound here. We was having sound issue with this series, so it is therefore that I'm talking over it. Let's see. Last week we were at Mono Lake, and let's see. We are now on 395, Highway 395. That highway is 630 miles long in California alone. And every once in a while you hear a little music, and that would be Douglas Blue Feather. We plan on going to Bishop, California. And I guess that's where we're going to take you today. While we're fixing the sound on all of this, it is now 2007. I have on the same clothes I had over the last 2-3 weeks, and that's because when we taped these inserts, we went all over the place to show you some things. And we are on the road as we speak. And while you're watching this, we pretty much in the same areas than the year before. So we're gonna go and film some, revisit some places, and talk to some of the same people from a different angle than we did the year before. And the actual trip, Roadrunner, was in April 2006. This insert you are looking at was filmed in August of 2006. And I guess we're gonna get ready to head for the highway here. We had a hard time at the Maima Mountains that day. It was dry and bees and all the other things. So we're gonna go, I guess. Yeah, let me go see this. Yeah, here we are. I'm gonna give you a little sound here.
We're at 8,000
At
feet.
8,000 feet.
We're on top of this mountain.
We're on top of the mountain. Tina liked it because she preferred trees to deserts.
Yeah, they say not to eat yellow snow.
Well, I prefer the desert, but there was something for everybody.
Look at those pretty Californian trees. They look like they're pine. Yeah, they are pine.
She called them California trees, but she said they reminded her of Washington.
The scenery just changed all of a sudden. That's called Bald Mountain Walkout over there.
And it was cold. It was ice on the highway. To remind you, we don't edit a lot.
It's crazy how each state is different.
Part
And how it
of this whole trip thing was to teach, Tina to film, and of course you at the same time, because so many of you sent me footage, and sometimes I just can't use it. And so we showed you some of the pitfalls, and eventually things will change a little bit. Also, I'm driving 65 miles an hour, and it is a little complicated to look in the viewfinder and see what it is that you're actually filming. Our intent was to bring you along in the back seat of the car and get you a storyline and tell you some things while we were having fun on this trip. And then I just have to give you bits and pieces here.
Beautiful. And another thing nice about this is a 2-lane road.
She talks about it's a two-lane road. She liked that. I like the one-lane better.
It's a 2-lane road, but one direction way. So it makes it easier for people that need to go slower on the side.
Yeah, she's a freeway person. I'm not. I like the little roads with the just one lane. When I used to take, accident. And that was a long ways down.
Look at those mountains.
When I used to take you to Colorado, we had a couple of big mountains to go over. And so I thought California would be a piece of cake. But do you know, from my house to Victorville is 1,250 miles with 8 mountains. From my house to Florence, Colorado is 1,251 miles with 2 mountains. So I don't have to tell you which one is easier for me.
Out in the middle of wilderness, with all the creatures running around, that's beauty for me. But it was
Yeah,
nice seeing
she's
the
still
desert
talking
because I've
about
never seen this with all the different
what's
colors.
beautiful to her and all the
Desert in
creatures
Texas
run
is
across the
much
highway.
different than the desert in Nevada.
And they wear.
Big differences.
They don't have cauliflower.
But it does look real
And
beautiful.
they don't have those cauliflower trees.
Hey, you know what?
And for those of you that think California is all beaches,
There was a nice gentleman
not
at the
so.
gas station that we just
Mhm.
used the restroom at. And
This mountain is about
made us very
8,000
aware that we had
miles.
nothing to worry about
Excuse
with
me,
this mountain,
8,000
and that
feet.
the next gas station was 30 miles, and we're at half a tank, so we're gonna get there and get that done.
150 miles, and the sheriff said it was 10,000.
And we are still coughing. We reminiscing about how the sheriff said we had a 10,000 footer and an 8,000 footer to cross. To remind you, we never found a 10,000 foot mountain. Instead, we ended up on a military installation, well, or public lands, which took us to Mono Lake. And that's kind of where we left off last week. And also to remind you, sometimes with viewfinders, you can pull something in because you want to look at it. And it was Tina's favorite. This wasn't too bad, you see. She would see something far away, she'd zap it in and look at it and zap it back out, which of course makes it complicated for the editor. Yeah. 281 miles. But it was kind of beautiful here. I think we're trying to go to Bishop.
40 miles, 40, 50.
Yeah.
That's easy to get in for time. Oh, yeah.
Now, from what I understand, a person could do all this in a 24-hour period. But because of the filming and things that I wanted to investigate, we did this 1,200 miles over a 4-day period. And like I said, chances are that's where Ebony and I are this year, because we're going pretty much the same route to revisit some places.
This road is much smoother.
Yeah, we played Douglas Bluefeather a little bit. Douglas Bluefeather is the gentleman that wrote part of the music for Wind Talker, and he won an award for Wind Talker actually. About 4 or 5 years ago, I don't remember exactly when, but we spent some time together, and he gave me 3 hours of his music to put on the show. And right about the time he won that award. And sometimes a person can take classical music and and you can put classical music under everything, and it seems to fit. Well, Douglas's music does the same. No matter what you do, it fits. Let me tell you a little bit about him. He was a police officer, and he got in a scuffle with a juvenile, and he lost an eye. And he was suspended from work, and he decided to play his flute. And while he was doing that, he discovered that he liked music much, much better, and decided to stay with the music. And is now a very, very famous artist. It's trying to catch a chemtrail.
Yeah, he's supposed to
There's
be
the
there.
sun here.
Oh, that looks so cool.
Yeah, he did say a couple. The old man said there was a couple of passes.
Couple of passes, and this is Sherman Summit.
She just said this was Sherman Summit. I'm not sure what this would be running parallel to.
Great Tech area. That's
Because if you went I-5, I think you have big chunks like that also. It is kind of up and down, and you, like I said, you do have to check your brakes occasionally. But it's nothing like Pendleton Pass. I think Pendleton Pass is my least favorite. Actually, Pendleton Pass scares me most of the time. And again, one of the things we talked about in the last few weeks was everything was so green, and that's because it was so early in the year. Usually it's just pretty dried out by the time I get to anywhere like that. Yeah. It's too early for fire season. I think we may run into that this year. Not too much traffic. People coming back from Arizona haven't quite left yet. This is a very popular, a very popular highway for the friends that go to Arizona during the summertime. Winter time. And I had requested footage, but it didn't really materialize, so.
Tires problem.
But it is beautiful, it really is. The air was fresh, and it's a little restless.
Of a special time for all Earth walkers. Once again, Mother Earth's family is being offered an opportunity to become related.
You've heard this many times. It's off the cut, the seventh fire.
But to extend their relatedness to the rest of the universe.
He talks about how we're all related, and it's time to unite the universe for all creatures to get along, not only, people and animals alike, and all creatures, and how the ancestors understood that concept. They said the ancients referred to this time as the seventh fire.
Into new dimensions and new realities of life.
It also makes reference to the interdimensional times that we live in.
To another residence in the West. Now, if we choose,
And of course, he acknowledges all life, terrestrial and extraterrestrial. Meaning, terrestrial is earthly, extraterrestrial is not earthly.
And tribal people often speak of their intention to return home to the rest of the family in the cosmos. Ancient prophecies can guide spiritual people as they seek to be in step.
He talks about Native
with
American
events
prophecies,
of each
how far they have come to pass.
ancient ones are reminding us to awaken to our own
And they
spiritual
remind us
power
to awaken.
and to become in harmony with Mother Earth.
and for us to become in harmony with Mother Earth, in the galactic community. Yeah. Some of us talked about global warming and earth changes long ago. And so now that it is mainstream, I think more people understand what we were trying to say. We just called it earth changes. But it would be kind of sad if we ruined all this beauty. Little water.
Yep, this is how the cows in California live.
She's talking about how the cows in California live.
Better than the cows in Nevada.
Oopsie, this is too fast again. Oh, we're almost off the mountain. But we didn't leave out anything. It was just pretty. Just pretty.
It's hard to come straight down like that. It's like
This
skyway to heaven.
is
Go into it. Don't tell me. We're gonna have to go up.
not too far from Bishop. This is, it's very restless here. No, actually, this is Bishop. Wrong story.
We ended up at Highway 6. That's where I had intended to come in. Anyway, we're going to give you a couple of little viewpoints here now. Behind me,
This is Bishop.
bakery and restaurant.
Very good place to eat.
It was recommended to us in Hawthorne, and so that's why we stopped
I don't know if you
here.
can hear this or not, but it
And
was
the beer
recommended us
company,
in
the
Hawthorne.
coffee company is right across the street here. Now,
And
when
we
it
found
comes
the
to
first
music, we're gonna
espresso
double
stand.
back and drive to this little town. It's another beautiful mural on the wall. So, in here and see what we can do in here.
Very few RVs. It was too early in the year.
This is in one of the dining rooms. There's people eating, so we're gonna give you a straight shot. And look at the beautiful steel chandelier.
The
teas and
decor
things.
was
Oh, I
beautiful.
spotted some bread. I'll go and look. Oh, cool.
Muffins. T-shirts.
Get the glare out of the pies, but it doesn't much matter which way we look at this. We're gonna walk sideways.
It had a glare in there, so.
It's okay. I bet today are so tasty. To all your birthday people today. Reminds me of the alien cookies one of the viewers baked me before the earthquake.
Mhm.
It finally gave it up. It got all mildewed. So cool.
Yeah, before the earthquake, somebody baked alien cookies for me. That's Tina.
Soups and salad. Here we go.
Oh, cool. While you do that, I'm gonna go and do the front of the menu because it gives the history advice. Okay, basically, I don't know what it says. How about, I'll read it. It basically says after World War II in 46, Jack and Irene Rhodes decided it would be good to have a restaurant in Bishop, California. And they had a little bitty counter at the time.
Started out
And
as
so
a
this
Waffle
how it
House.
started. And after Jack passed away, it says here Irene married Slim. And so they remodeled and added a whole bunch of stuff. And then in 1981,
1981, it became Jack's.
Marty and Betty West bought the place. And so now it came from a waffle shop into a full-fledged service restaurant with trout.
Yeah.
All right.
So they changed the menu and everything.
You know,
Okay.
reservations and whatnot. We can add.
Really
Here
good
we
place
go,
to stop.
Jack's, 437 North Main, Bishop, California.
A crispy chicken salad. That's what I'm eating.
Oh, this looks good, oh Lord.
It is very good.
And
Crispy
the sauce,
chicken
got the
salad.
sauce there. What are you going to do now?
I'm gonna put hot sauce on my chicken.
Hot sauce?
Yeah.
It's a house. It's a house.
She put hot sauce on everything. The house sauce.
Very good. Very good.
Okay, baked bread, with cheese, potato salad. No mystery on this one. So, bon appetit. Here's an article about how they raised almost $26,000 for the family for a fire. These are some of the things that are doing on the walls.
There were lots of newspaper articles on the wall that I couldn't get to because the way the hallway was laid out, I couldn't quite get it into the. I couldn't quite get it. Now this here was old and faded, and so
Don't know what that would like to see it at home. Since we haven't filmed in a while, I do apologize.
so now here it is several hours later, and we camera happy again,
We've got 3 hours left, and we'll be at our destination.
and
We'll
we're gonna
rest. It'll be fun.
get to where we wanted to go in
Looks like
3
we're gonna be riding
hours.
in the desert and enjoying each other's company. So I'm gonna let you go. Do you want to say anything, Lily?
On the main road
Okay,
was a sign, and it said
this is
resting
the
place
story.
of 1818, I believe, somewhere, earthquake victims. And we thought there was a great
In the
deal of
1800s, there was a big earthquake, and this
But
is
I've
where
come to the conclusion it isn't.
the victims
So
were
I'm thinking
buried.
This is where they are. So I thought I'd come up here and pay my respects.
So we
And,
went there as close
I
to
paid
it
my
as we could
respects.
go, and
film this.
paid our respects.
I don't know exactly what
There wasn't any markers as to the actual site of the people.
there's a sign on the highway.
But as I'm driving, something caught my attention, and I thought I needed to go there, and I did. It did not indicate how many people had died there, but it almost sounds like the earth just opened up, like it did, in my case, and just buried the people, and they left them there.
Oh, that flag, yeah. Let's see. It's real,
You drive right by it.
it's really, yeah, it is. It's really sunny here, so, but there's a flag, so I'm assuming it means something, but I can't tell.
We don't know what this flag means, but there it was. So. Oh, I couldn't read it that fast because the tree was so close. Here it is, 1872. And Tina thought she saw a metal plaque, but I couldn't find it.
You hardly have any.
But she insisted it was there.
Or is it down for there was no iron? No, I mean there was graves with the iron, like holes and still stuff around it. If you
She's
go up
trying to
just
find
a little
it.
bit more, we'll see it. I seen it on our way in. We're getting
We
closer.
must have talked about that plaque for 3 days. But we see what we see, and that's how it is. It was just a real serene place. We're going to stop there again and see if we
No.
can find it for you.
Cool.
Now, people can also go to Los Angeles from here. Not too far from there, I would say maybe 30 or 40 miles is a road that actually goes into Los Angeles. And you come out, I believe, in Glendale. Not Glendale. I think Glendale or somewhere. So if you don't want to go I-5, this would be a good route. It actually goes to St. Bernardino, and you can go all the way to San Diego from here. Hotels were reasonable. Gas was very expensive. Actually, it was $1 more in California than it was in Nevada. Because it was so early in the year, we kind of saw the edges of Death Valley, and it was actually flooded. Yeah, and then a couple of years earlier, a friend of ours came through there, and actually we are on some kind of reservation. But I don't remember which one, and this footage was too restless here. But anyway, my friends came to Death Valley, and it was, there it is. And it was, if you look to the left here, you can actually see the edges, and it's flooded. Well, they came through there in 120, so. Yeah, and then I guess there's a highway that goes through there going to Boston, other than the interstate. So all this was unfamiliar to me. I had never been there. So when we go back this year, at least we know what we're looking for. We know where we want to stop. We're not on a time frame like we were here. From the time we left Olympia till we came back was a total of 13 days. This time we're going for 5 or 6 weeks. There came a point there where there was activity. We don't know if there were airplanes. We don't know if there were blackups or what, but it was like they broke the sound barrier. See, I'm trying to get Death Valley for you there. They broke the sound barriers, and they didn't look like stealths, but it was pretty loud and intense.
But we got some Creedence Clearwater Revival on the radio, and
It's a cactus.
unless they're yucca trees, I don't know.
Oh, yucca tree. I don't know. I think it's a cactus. And the black thing is a bug on the windshield. Yeah. I believe she was trying to find this craft I was telling you about. And she must have thought that was it, but that's a bug, I think.
Look at that. You see that thing?
Right.
That thing?
Yeah. I don't know what she saw. There was a lot of, as the countryside became, kind of flat again, we saw many solar panels. We saw many windmills type things, and I suppose some of the houses on the outskirts of some of the towns were self-sufficient. We are still at the Maima Mounds. It was a day, it was very quiet, other than a few shots. Behind me there is a rifle range that you can hear all the time you are at the Maima Mounds. And we had some strange things happening while we filmed that. Now, myself as a person, I was stationary, and it's like the ground and the sky kind of separated, and we had some technicians look at that, and we don't know what happened, but the Maima Mountains, in my opinion, are a little bit interdimensional at times, so it kind of reminded us of the time warp that we filmed 2 years ago, and don't know. So let's see what else we know here, and then here come the Yellow Jackets. They plagued us. I mean, all the time. And let's see. So when you even for the local people, I encourage you to explore and get familiar with your surroundings. And now this is Adelanto, California.
All this trash.
Whole town was
It
like
only
that.
takes one person to keep on throwing trash out the window and it'll look like this.
We had just came to town,
This is disgusting.
and of course we was accusing everybody of throwing stuff around. She's going a little fast.
Why don't they have anybody that can
We had planned on staying in Adelanto, but after all this we changed our mind and went to Victorville. It later turns out that there's a landfill and the wind had blown the trash there. This this was supposed to be the highlight of our trip. The Strippers Hall of Fame. We couldn't get in, it was closed. We had called a couple of weeks ahead of time, and we wanted to film there. It turned out that the gentleman that lived there, he had died while we were en route, and the woman was very sick. In the meantime, this whole museum has been transferred to Las Vegas. So if you end up going to Las Vegas, that might be something to look into. And here it was in the middle of nowhere. So we were really sorry we couldn't take you there, but that's as close as we could get. And right across the street is a field that might have been the only field we saw that a crop circle would have even been remotely possible. So, no crop circle.
Anyway, we are not, we didn't get anything pretty for you there, but look at this.
Oh, look what we found.
Beautiful horses. Aren't they pretty? That's beautiful.
I'm not a horse person, so I kept my distance.
There's a side view of the river. Look like
This is a river. It's the Mojave River.
Right over the bridge, there's hardly any water in this river at all.
Even though it was early and you had snow melt, there wasn't hardly any water in the river. Very low. I could just imagine what it looks like now. It's probably all dried up. Just such, just so little water altogether there. Now we're trying to show you some windmills and solar panels towards the prison. Now the prisons are self-sufficient, but it's very hard to pull that in because you cannot film prisons, close up, and so that's the best we could do here. But there's one, yeah. And this is a cement factory, and they usually build prisons close to cement factories because so many things are, like in Florence, Colorado, the underground facilities are made out of cement. And so it gets real windy, and the cement flies, and the garbage flies, and it was pretty miserable.
And Charlie O'Rourke, the man died a month ago, so we missed it. But
The man's name was Charlie O'Rourke, the one at the museum.
So I guess the museum itself is a dying breed at this point. We are entering this backwards, actually. We drove by and it looks so cool.
Look what we found.
Look at it. It is called Antique Station.
It's called the Antique Station.
You've been here a long time?
Huh?
Can I take a picture?
I built the whole place.
Oh, did you?
He said he built that whole place in 8 years.
You built a place, he said.
Mhm.
And your name?
Tom.
Tom? Yeah. How long
He
have
was
you
a
been
Paiute gentleman.
8 years. You built all this in 8 years?
We didn't have time to go in, but maybe Ebony and I can tackle it.
Oh my, thank you. Want to take your picture too? Oh,
He wanted to be on TV too.
thank you.
We just bought a new microphone for our camera, so next year we won't have this problem.
Yeah. I went to the Route 66 Museum in Hamel, Illinois.
Victorville is on Route 66, and a few years ago I took you from Illinois, almost at the beginning of Route 66, clear cross country, and Victorville is towards the end of Route 66, but I didn't know that until I got here. And the story I'm telling him is that when I was in Illinois, the gentleman said, this is the Route 66 museum. We have everything you ever found on Route 66. And I said, I bet you don't have a crop circle. And I showed him a crop circle with a Route 66 sign next to it. And he gave me a sandwich because he lost the bet.
Take you to a restaurant we ate at yesterday, and I'm going to show you Old Town Victorville right on Route 66. So we just spotted that because we made a wrong turn.
Yeah, we got lost and found that place.
Oh, I see it. It's called,
Now we're going towards the hotel,
Johnny Ribs.
coming from Adelanto, and you'll notice that the scenery changes again, like totally.
Oh, I forgot the name of the street. Okay, that's what
Yeah.
we're going here. We are Palmdale. That's the street? Palmdale. Yeah, Palm Street. That's the street we originally came in on.
Oh yeah,
So,
we're going to a restaurant here. That's Tina.
and spoon. Now, we've been on the road. So the first thing we're gonna do, Stop Commerce, old timer, and a lady. What a nice
Yeah,
little
those floor shots are done on purpose. That was the bathroom. It was wonderful in there.
bagging. Those are
That
chicken
noise you hear is chickens.
sitting admire the flowers.
This is the floor.
All right.
Okay, you're still filming. Go ahead. Go right
But
there.
I'm not gonna be a customer. All non-smoking people.
There was a smoking area.
On the floor you have
Here's the floor again.
shelves.
And the reason I showed you the floor, oops, is you donate money and they let you throw stuff on the floor. Peanuts and whatever.
And you see on the floor,
See?
you get to throw peanuts shelves on the floor.
And that's how they raise money for all kinds of different things.
Of messing up the place, you donate some money.
That janitor's busy every
I
night.
don't remember what it is, but you donate money to some cause. And so the floor looks like that. It's so awesome. They have lunches.
This is the menu and the lunches, very reasonable.
Really nice senior menu. Today I'm gonna
That's
eat
for the
breakfast
seniors.
catfish now. I missed the pork chops yesterday, unfortunately. There's an old car in the yard.
That's how we found the place. We liked the car.
The donation buckets. It's the Feedback Foundation Incorporated.
And you see, you probably can hear this.
Here we are.
Again, I apologize for the sound.
Rice. Greens.
Dirty rice, greens, and she had a barbecue sandwich.
Okay. Greens.
And I had greens,
Hush puppies.
hush puppies, and catfish.
And catfish. Potatoes. There you go.
Very reasonable, very good. They raised $197,000.
Here.
I don't remember if it was all in 1 year, but they did a lot of money.
This man objected to yesterday. There it is.
Oops. That's one of the waitress. That's one of the waitresses, and we can't hear her either. So I'll just kind of give you a general idea. She liked being on TV. She had been there for 2 years, and she said it was probably one of the best places to work. She made enormous amounts of tips, she said, and had a lot of regular customers. And here they're yelling for her. So she said, I gotta go.
Do you know that some of your locals don't know you here?
Yeah, we asked some of the locals how the food was, and they didn't even know the place was there.
Well, you're advertising now all over the country.
She was really nice.
And
These are the pork chops. You have to have pork
we did
chops.
those yesterday. Can you believe it?
I ate 3 of those pork chops. Yeah, they were good. That's worth driving all the way to California for those pork chops and a palm tree.
It doesn't fit in the car, but they are so few in between. Here you go. We're gonna end this shot with a palm tree. All these shoes yesterday. 8 pairs of shoes.
And we bought
And
shoes.
baby outfit for $84.
I bought 11 pair of shoes for
No mail order,
$80.
unfortunately.
All designer
Up on
shoes.
Route 66. In Victorville, here it is. Victorville.
In
And
Victorville.
this is, forgot the name of the street. And here's the
I
phone
asked
number.
him if he would mail order, and he said no, not really. But boy, I tell you, you talking about some pretty shoes. It was just awesome. Yeah, I'm going back there, and I did buy those red shoes. They don't go with any of my clothes, but I had to have those shoes. Yeah, it was pretty intense.
Of Old Victorville.
Yeah, that's Old Town. Oh, excuse me. That's Old Town Victorville.
Guess what? We got a red light. And there's a train.
And those are Jotos.
I don't know what that means.
Hairstyles.
That means hairstyles.
Hola.
That's part of that other scenery there.
I'm filming.
Okay, people love pretty curls, don't they?
I'm filming.
Mucho gusto, Tina.
One of the things I did while I was there, I consulted an attorney about something. And I needed him to go to Los Angeles to take care of something for me. And he said, I love Los Angeles. He said, I like fancy restaurants, #1 hotels and entertainment. And he said, and if you send me to Los Angeles, you're going to pay for all of that. And I thought he was so honest because by him telling me to hire an attorney in Los Angeles, he said he would love to drive 2-3 days out of the month into Los Angeles. And now this is the highway. It'll go to Apple Valley, and they call everything a freeway. This is not a freeway, but that's what they call it. And now you see, that's what it looks like. And Apple Valley had an earthquake right about then. And we were staying at Motel 6. They were remodeling a few things, but really, really nice people.
And there's a cross right up.
It's not on the thing. It's not on my thing. Illegal.
Oh well, I think you got it in special effects. Of course, it's special effects.
Look at our viewers next door. I said we got viewers next door.
Okay, and I gotta go.
They're loving the signs.
All right.
Traffic was bearable. And Motel 6 is on the other side of the interstate.
All rocks. She's filming again.
Excuse me, people at home.
But the lady said, excuse my rush.
Excuse my rush.
That's a professor we met, and every time something unexpected came up, she said, excuse my rush.
So if you ask locals where you need to go, it'll be good to look in the phone book or something, because they don't know how to get anywhere. It's like they get on these highways and anything off the highway. Now this was a little tricky.
Wrong way. You'll see what we're talking about.
For a minute there, we thought we was going the wrong way, because if you notice, there's a sign that says no right turn.
And then we said, well, no.
And I said, oh no, now what?
So we went this way.
And but we followed that feeder road around, because you see, it looked like we was going on the freeway the wrong way. But we were lucky, and that's not what happened. But at nighttime, I panicked. I didn't know where I was going. Yeah, so there's a Howard Johnson's, and this is Motel 6 here. Very reasonable. Like I said, nice people, had coffee and everything. So, and then there was a Denny's right behind this building. And we stayed there for a week.
And we are in 108.
Yeah, so there we are.
Oh, we got swimming pool even. What do you know?
Driving you right into the room, 108. Yellow Jackets. They had all those inserts. We were fighting the Yellow Jackets. In the closing, some music when I was with the Reggae Connection, and I believe it's a live concert. I'm not sure at the moment. And so we're going to have you enjoy some music. And, of course, our closing song by Randy Shaw, Lilian, Miss Lilian, and Randy is now in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I'm apologizing for wearing the same shirt again. Yeah. And I think I was talking about how sometimes we have one thing in mind and we end up somewhere else. Like I told you, we want to go to Adelanto, and we thought it was garbage, but Adelanto is just not a good place to stay. So Victorville is 6 miles, and no difference, hardly any distance here. So we just have to go with the flow sometimes. Yeah, we did. And here come those Yellow Jackets running us out of the Maima Mounds. We are still at the Maima Mounds. They're at the entrance. And, but one of the things we didn't know, they had sprayed for something, so they probably irritated all those critters out there. But we didn't know that at the time. And, well, I guess we'll kind of see you next week, and so enjoy the music. And that's Lake Fair in 2006. The Train Robbery, that's the name of the song.
This is the time of the show when we be very white. And we hope y'all want to get down to this groove. Right on, right on. Roddy, baby. It was quite clear to me what you had in store was there for only me. Surely you know you took me by surprise. When I turned and looked, I saw that message in your eye. There you were, out there on the floor. The way you moved, girl, only made me want you more. I did not know you had me hypnotized. With the movement of your body, dancing in my eyes. I wanna hurt you and make you mine. Don't want to control you, just have a good time. It makes so sweet when you lay down next to me. Oh, ecstasy when you lay down next to me. Yeah, I find it hard to leave you passing straight. If I don't make my move, girl, it might be too late. I've got to make sure you don't get away. After all you've done, girl, to make me want to stay. All my life I've been searching for a star, and now my search is over. And here we are, living in ecstasy. When you lay down next to me, oh, ecstasy. When you lay down next to me, all right on. I wanna hold you and make you mine. Don't want to control you, just have a good time. Ecstasy, yeah. When you lay down next to me, oh my, ecstasy. When you lay down next to me, yeah, girl, it's ecstasy. When you lay down next to me, yeah, girl, it's ecstasy. When you're laying here with me, oh, it's ecstasy. Oh, no, when you're here with me.
Mustelier, like to thank you for all the fun you took us here. Take us there, and it's just because you really care where our journey goes. All it begins, part of our planning will extend. And if we do our part, we'll fill our mission. We've had from the kick us down.